Ah yes, Klonoa, Door to Phantomile. I've been meaning to check this game out for a long time. You ever have those games that you've always wanted to play but just constantly miss out on? Klonoa has been that game for me. Not to mention how hard it is to find a physical copy of the original PS1 version. Jesus Christ! Yeah, Klonoa didn't exactly sell very well when it was first released, mostly due to a piss-poor marketing campaign by Namco that barely advertised the game. Despite this, Klonoa has managed to become a cult classic over time due to its surprisingly dark story, innovative and fun gameplay, and beautiful graphics. But does the game still hold up? Let's take a look. By the way, we're taking a look at the Phantasy Reverie Series version that is just released. Klonoa has quite the interesting development history. The 10th project by director Hideo Yoshizawa, the game originally began as a more serious game featuring robots mixed with an ancient ruins aesthetic. Look at this edgy bastard. Can you believe that he became the adorable whatever the fuck he is we know as Klonoa today? Apparently the game was supposed to involve Klonoa fighting werewolves, which is just hilarious to picture. Eventually the game was drastically changed to the sillier, cartoonier game that it would come to be known as. Klonoa takes place in the land of Phantomile, a land created by the power of dreams. Klonoa has been having strange dreams about an airship crashing into a mountain, and one day the dream comes true. Klonoa and his best friend Hupo, a weird blue floating orb guy, set off to investigate the crashed airship, and so our adorable adventure begins. Klonoa is, at least for the first half, a pretty simple good versus evil story. We learn that the evil Gaudius has kidnapped the diva Laphise in order to plunge the world into endless nightmares, and we must stop him. By continuing throughout the game, we gradually help restore the world from Gaudius' influence. The first few levels of the game carry on like this, and then Klonoa's grandpa is blown up by an orbital missile strike.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Oof. Yeah, this game suddenly gets very dark very quickly, rather infamously. Klonoa's grandpa fucking dies! There's no he'll be okay bullshit here. That man is dead! And it's all because we got involved in this adventure. But it doesn't stop there. The end of the game is when the tears really start flowing out. Beginning in the final level, Hupo starts acting a bit suspicious. He starts withholding information from Klonoa, and after the final boss we find out why. Klonoa isn't from Phantomile. He's a dream brought to this world to help restore the balance of dreams and nightmares. And once the diva Laphise sings her song of rebirth, Klonoa will be taken away from this world. On top of that, it turns out that his entire memory of his childhood was just a fabrication by Hupo, all to use him in order to save Phantomile. Laphise begins her song and Klonoa is sucked away, all while screaming Hupo's name. And that's it. That's how the game ends. There's no twist where Klonoa and Hupo get to be together after all. Klonoa, as far as I know, never meets Hupo again in any of the main series games. It's just a tragic ending that comes completely out of goddamn nowhere. After a whole game of nothing but silly fun times, we're suddenly slapped with this revelation. Holy shit, I don't even know what to say. The ending wouldn't hit so hard if our main characters weren't so damn lovable. Klonoa is just adorable. He's a good-natured kid who's out to save the world and help people along the way, and through his kindness, the different lands of Phantomile are saved. But Hupo... I don't know how to feel about Hupo. He's cute, and he's a good friend for most of the game, but man, the fact that he lies to us basically the entire game makes me very suspect of him. His friendship with Klonoa is super underdeveloped due to the game's short length, so while his actions still hit hard at the end, they don't hit quite as hard as they're probably meant to. Not that this children's game should completely crush your soul, but still, I would have liked to have seen some more of the relationship between the characters. The rest of the characters, however, I don't have as much to say about. Along your journey, you'll meet various beings from the world of Phantomile, and to say that they lack character would honestly be quite an understatement. They have funny things to say, but not much depth or personality. I wouldn't say that's a major flaw, though, because this is meant to be a pretty simplistic platformer at the end of the day. Sadly, this criticism does extend to our main villain, Gaudius. We really don't learn much about this guy. He wants to plunge Phantomile into eternal nightmares, and that's about it. There's more to him that's hinted by the ending, that he's a being of pure nightmare who was abandoned by the world. But that's about all we learn. Perhaps the mystery is more exciting than the answer. What isn't a mystery is the fact that this is a beautiful game. It's colorful, vibrant, and runs at a solid 60 frames per second the entire way through. I didn't encounter a single bug during my entire playthrough of the remake. I admire how colorful this game is when most games nowadays are trying to be darker and less saturated. It's nice to see a game that's just all about the color and the vibrancy. My praise also extends to the music. This is now one of my favorite game soundtracks of all time. There's a wide variety of sounds on offer here, all restored from the PS1 version, and they all sound fantastic. They're catchy as shit, too. Some of these I still find myself humming. However, there are some occasional audio quirks with the remaster. It's opted to keep the highly compressed voice lines from the original game, and it can be pretty jarring, especially when some voice lines clearly have been re-recorded, like Klonoa's Wahoo! Or yeah, that. I really wish they had opted to re-record the voice lines, but since this remake looks to have been made on the budget of a potato, I can understand why they didn't. Above all, I feel that Klonoa's shining aspect is its gameplay. This is a very solid 2D platformer. You've got your basic running and jumping, but you also have access to a floating jump using Klonoa's floppy ears, which can save you from time to time. However, the main gameplay feature is Klonoa's wind ring. Klonoa can't directly attack enemies, but he can inflate them by using the wind ring, which enables him to throw them in 4 directions, or use them to gain a double jump. The double jump can be chained with multiple enemies in order to reach high areas and discover secrets. This becomes especially crucial in the later levels, when the platforming and puzzle solving becomes harder. What makes Klonoa unique from other 2D platformers is that it's actually a 2.5D platformer. While you can only walk from left to right, you can also throw enemies towards the foreground and background in order to unlock secrets or obtain collectibles, like the 6 trapped Phantom Islands in every level. This 2.5D aspect makes Klonoa super unique and leads to a ton of gameplay opportunities that wouldn't be possible in a regular 2D game. Levels weave and intertwine within one another and can lead to tons of secrets and surprising areas. Klonoa is also a bit of a collectathon. Slightly. By collecting all 72 missing Phantom Islands across the game, you're rewarded with a single extra level. Woohoo! You might notice that there's not any footage of that, and that's because I'm not about to spend way too much time 100%ing this game just to unlock a single level. However, I do have 2 pretty big complaints with Klonoa's gameplay. That would be its difficulty and its short length. Klonoa is a very easy and very short game that only starts to ramp up in difficulty a bit towards the end. Obviously, this isn't really a bad thing, considering that's meant for kids, but for me as an adult, it definitely could have used a hard mode or something. Thankfully, boredom never really sets in, as the difficulty curve is very smooth and gradual, all the way until the end of the game. Overall, I really enjoyed Klonoa Door to Phantomile. Despite its short length and easy difficulty, this is still one of the best 2D platformers I've ever played, topped off with a fantastic atmosphere, soundtrack, and story. I highly recommend that you give it a shot, especially with the Phantasy Reverie Series version now released. Hey everybody, it's Night Paradox here. So thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. Hit the bell. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I'm currently working on the Klonoa 2 video. So if you have any feedback for me, please just let me know in the comments. So thank you so much. My name is Night Paradox, and I hope that you all have a wonderful night.